The time is at hand.
From Williamson, West Virginia, the gateway to the crackheads, this is In Dark Places. Today I have some ghost stories for you. When I was about 9 or 10 years old, I was woke up by a loud noise, and as the 9-year-old I was, I pulled the covers up. I was watching through a little hole in the sheets. After a while, I pulled the covers down and I woke up to another loud noise. This time I went out of my room to check it out. A giant, about 6 foot tall man burst out of the darkness and somehow just like went through my body. And again, like the 9-year-old I was, I went exactly where he went. The bathroom. I locked myself in there for a while and went back to bed. A couple minutes later I heard, once again, a loud noise, but this time it wasn't a bang, it was a moan. A shadowed figure ran into my room and stood there. I woke up in the morning and the news was on. I ate breakfast and the news announced that earlier that night on Country Air, West El Paso Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, a man broke into a home with a pipe bomb and killed a man. The house was next door. By the way, that was like 7 years ago. I moved out that year. My parents' story, but I never forgot about it. Even though it's not incredibly exciting, when they first married 30 years ago, they worked together at a furniture store at night, doing the cleaning. My mom would see a little girl sitting on top of a particular dresser, but wasn't afraid of her, perhaps a little unsettled, even though she realized she was a ghost. I don't remember if there was ever any interaction, but she once saw an older man with frightening physical features that did frighten her walking around. She told my dad about it, but he didn't really believe in ghosts and didn't really believe her. They had a shotgun wedding after knowing each other for only a few months, so they didn't know each other amazingly well at the time. One night my mom was vacuuming the basement of the store and my dad came running down the stairs and tells her they are leaving. They didn't put away the vacuum or anything. They just left and never went back because my dad saw the old man that scared my mom. I am an EMT. During my first month of work, I responded to a very bad motorcycle accident on a road I take every day to go to work. The rider of the motorcycle hit a patch of black ice, spun out, and was hit by a tractor trailer. I watched as he died. It was gruesome. A week later, his family put up a cross at the intersection. I still drive by it every day going to and from work. I work in a sparsely populated rural area. Most nights, I leave work to come home around 1 or 2 a.m., and usually I'm the only vehicle on the road. This is the New Jersey Pine Barrens, a very eerie and spiritual place. Some nights after passing the place where he died, I will look in my rearview mirror and see a lone motorcycle rider. He follows me for several miles before disappearing as I pass over a small hill. I am convinced that it is the ghost of the man who I saw die. I suddenly dreamt of my friend's mother calling my name, clearly and loudly, like somebody talking clearly into my ears. Weird. I have not contacted this friend for a long time. Called her the next day. She told me that her mother had just passed away. This is a true story. I was 6 or 7 years old when this happened. I was just playing in my parents' bedroom at night while my family was watching all sorts of movies. The bedroom is lit only by the living room lights. As I kept playing, I saw pinkish orbs within the window and spark like a disco ball. Then my dad asked me why I was giggling all by myself, and I told my dad that there were orbs within the window. Suddenly my father saw it too, and he said, "Oh, that's your uncle." I didn't get what he said that night because my uncle was watching in the living room along with my family. And the next day my uncle died. He suffered from some respiratory illness that I knew was gone. I asked my father about the orbs when we reached home, and he never remembered telling me those kinds of stuff. I was terrified as a kid, My uncle will be missed. He was truly an angel. When I was in primary school, I heard this kid talking about when he woke up at 3 a.m., the witching hour, and saw his wardrobe open and his sister's doll on his bed turn around and stare at him. He was probably lying, but that scared me. My mom told me that she heard me walking around upstairs at night. She thought I was sleepwalking, but I'm not a sleepwalker. And finally, my mom came in to wake me up. Then suddenly, one of my dolls set off and scared my mom so much that she woke me up. I'm a heavy sleeper. When I was 13, I experienced the ghost of my grandmother. She died in her sleep while taking a nap on the living room couch. Afterward, according to my father and my grandfather, every now and then they could hear her make the trip from the bedroom to the kitchen and open the refrigerator door, a trip she had made many times when she was alive. First, I thought my father and my grandfather were making this up, having fun at my expense. A couple years after she passed away, my father and I went to spend the weekend with my grandfather. My father and I slept on the living room couch. It opened into a double bed, the same couch my grandmother died on. My grandfather left the house to go to a next door neighbor's house to play poker. My father and I went to bed in the living room. My father went right to sleep. I laid awake, reading a magazine. After a while, I heard the noise of the back bedroom door being pulled open. I heard the sound of shuffling feet. I heard the creak on the floor, directly in front of the bathroom doorway. I heard more shuffling feet. Then I heard the fridge door being pulled open, and I heard the sound of glass bottles on the fridge door clinking against each other. Back then, they were still putting soft drinks in glass bottles. And that's where we went wrong. Started using plastic junk and everything. Just so you know. But back to the story. Feeling thirsty, I decided to get out of bed, go to my grandfather in the kitchen for a cold drink. I go into the kitchen only to find myself all alone. I was puzzled. I could have sworn I heard my grandfather walk from the bedroom into the kitchen and open the fridge. Then I remember my grandfather wasn't home. He was over at the neighbor's house, and he hadn't came back yet. Then I remember my grandfather's and my father's ghost stories. Then I got scared. I raced from the kitchen into the living room and leaped over my sleeping father into my side of the bed. Then I went to sleep. I don't know how long I slept before I woke up with a start, a feeling of paralyzing fear in my body. I was frozen. I was lying on my right side. It took a while for me to work up the courage to turn my head to the left. My head was covered by my blanket. There was a shadow being cast onto my blanket. The shadow was the outline of the head and shoulders of a woman with a beehive hairdo. My grandmother used to always have a beehive hairdo, even years after it went out of style, up until she died. I heard heavy breathing coming from the shadow. I had to work up the courage to move one of my hands to remove the blanket off my face, and when I did, in an instant, the paralyzing fear I felt was gone. The shadow was gone. The sound of heavy breathing was gone. My father was still sleeping. I pulled the blanket back over my head and went back to sleep, only to wake up again on my right side. The paralyzing fear was back. Forcing myself to turn my head, the shadow was back. The heavy breathing was back. Again, I had to summon up all my courage to move my hand to take my blanket off my face, only to find nothing there, and the paralyzing fear was gone. I went through this same routine the entire night. I lost count of how many times this happened throughout the night. Maybe a dozen, maybe more. But it happened a lot. The next morning I told my father what happened to me throughout the entire night while he slept. The sounds of the bedroom door opening, the shuffling feet, the fridge door opening, nobody in the kitchen, being awakened with a paralyzing fear, the shadow, the heavy breathing, the repeat performances throughout the night. I kind of expected him to tell me that I was just seeing and hearing things, but instead, he smiled and exclaimed, "That was Grandma." And that's about all the ghost stories I got for right now. I'll be back in a couple of days with some more. Thanks for listening. God bless.